Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I want to thank everyone for being here with me. I took a few days off, and again, my videos don't air in chronological order, but most of you who had joined in wanted to see what I brought back from my Come Shop With Me videos, and here are three of the paperweights. Before I really dive into this, thank you again so much for joining in. I really appreciate it. You guys have been so kind to me, and I'm so grateful. You make me so incredibly happy. On to the video. So these three paperweights I bought at the Berlin Antique Mall, and you saw me pick these out of the showcase and bring them up to the front desk, and I just wanted to bring them back for a close-up. I do need to get them cleaned up. I don't know why my camera won't focus. There we go. Look at me go. I'm a little bit rusty today, so check out the inside of this. Yes, it's newer than it is old, but it's still vintage. I would guess this to be around the late 1960s or 1970s. As I said in the video, I thought this could be Perthshire, and I believe that it is. It's unsigned, but notice the little bit of wear to the foot here. Notice how that there's an honest wear that this has been kind of moved around on a desk, especially on this edge right here. That kind of tells you that it's vintage. And of course, a ground down pontil. So this would where the pontil would be, and then this is ground down and polished and finished. But I loved the trapped air. I loved the bubbles on the inside. And again, the push and pull and the color, this kind of directional, almost sunray design, and then this floral rosette in the center. I really loved that one. And it's quite large. I think that's about 2 3/4 inches across. But I really loved that one. So that's one that I purchased. And then this one was the other one that I just fell in love with. And I do believe this, again, to be Perthshire. And the way the bottom is finished and the way this was encased in the clear glass, very indicative of what they did for paperweights. And I believe there's also another one from Scotland. I think it was Strathern. And they also did, excuse the pronunciation there, but they also did such encased weights that almost had like this carpet ground, and then these applied canes and almost millefiori around the outside. So I just really love the color of this one. It reminded me of somehow the colors of a birthday cake, and that made me very happy. And I really liked the color combination of this one, and the condition of these was magnificent. I did leave behind more than I bought, but that's because some were just far too contemporary. This one really got me. The push and pull of the ground in this, and the skill that this would have taken to create this almost elliptical eye form, this push and pull of the surface, both in the way the canes were almost like a ribbon work, and then a piece of trapped air on the inside, a gigantic, I guess you could say, void of trapped air. And on the bottom, you could see how small the design is. And then when you turn it, it's magnified by this very large and clear dome of glass. I loved the skill and the craft that this took. I also loved the color combination, gray, black, and white. Very, I want to say, abstract, ethereal, heavenly. I just really enjoyed this one very much. So that's the other one that I purchased. And these were moderately priced, but I love the size of this. And I loved when you moved this, that, again, internal push and pull of that design. And just fantastic. That was a favorite. As to artist on this one, I'm not exactly sure. Late 50s, early 60s on this one, but that was a have to have. So that's the other one that I chose. Now getting into, oh, I forgot. I did pick up this crystal at another mall there, and I'll do some research on this formation. It's almost double terminated. So there's terminals here and there's terminals here, almost in the family of Herkimer diamonds, although this is not a Herkimer diamond. It's too tabular in its creation, and also the kind of timekeeper lines on here, much more smoky quartz in the quartz family, nonetheless, like Herkimer diamonds. I loved this halo of color, and I liked the overall twin crystal design, and a tabular formation, and again a timekeeper. So you see these kind of ancient lines across the surface that kept time of this formation that took, a long time to create. But look at the internal rainbows as well. This crystal had a lot going for it, and it was only $15. So that had to come home with me, because I figured a full retail on that one should be between $75 and $85. Again, on crystals, you get what you pay for. If you wanted a single crystal like this, you could get it as low as $20 or $25. But when you get a twin crystal and a tabular formation, that kind of flattened tabular formation, it does get quite more expensive, because they're more difficult to find, and then also more difficult to get out of the ground intact, so they didn't go across the fault line. But I loved that for a crystal, so that was on the way home. Get that out of the way. And then this was a simple buy. This isn't life-changing. This isn't something that, was timeless or important, but this was fantastic for wearability. It is, I guess you could say, it's Art Deco in style. Would I say that it's from the 20s? No. Would I say that it's more from the late 30s, 40s? The answer is yes. It is open back, and this is all original solder right here to keep this together. So it is soft soldered together to keep the bands from moving apart as you would wear this. It does clasp here. There is a little bit of, as I struggle again, there is a little bit of wear to the clasp, but that's honest wear. But I loved the color of the crystals, and it was very moderately priced. That will come to one of my YouTube sales. And again, I will be doing a YouTube sale, hopefully in the near future, as I struggle to get this open again. At least the clasp works really well, right? And very secure. But I will be bringing this back to one of my shows. But I really liked the quality of these purple crystals, and I liked the color, and a 3-row rather than just one. So that was a have to have, and I'll be bringing that to one of my sales. Get that out of the way. But you wanted to see what I buy, and I don't ever want to come on here and only show very, very expensive things. I want to show moderately priced items as well. This is one of those. It is a Mexican sterling silver ring. This would be from the later part of the 50s, maybe into the 60s, but pre-1970. I loved the color play inside of these stones. They go like a fuchsia pink to a light blue to a definite purple. Again, in that quote synthetic alexandrite, even though I don't think that that's alexandrite's color shift most of the time, at least not honestly from what I've seen from genuine alexandrite. And on the inside, it is signed on the inside down in there with the Mexican hallmarks. I really liked that kind of bypass design. I liked this starburst motif on the stones. Really great. I wish I could spend a lot more time on some of these, but this box next to me is just bursting full of things and treasures that I found, and I should have done more videos of this as I went. This one I had to restore. There was a couple issues with this brooch, but look at this butterfly. Yes, late 1950s, early 1960s. Again, we'll get into attribution to maker on this in the very near future, but I'll be bringing this to either eBay or YouTube. I'm not sure exactly which I'm going to decide. Very springtime, very, very large. I think this was moderately priced at $9, or it was like $9.75. It wasn't much. And this was out in Hartville. There was a consignment shop, and I really loved that brooch. Currently in very, very good condition. So there's that. This was, let's see here. I got these two. Well, we'll bring this one on as well. Why not, right? Why not just load it up? Let's zoom in on these. Let's get a little bit more intimate and a little bit closer. So this I believe to be lavender jade. At first I thought it was amethyst, but then its color saturation and its transparency did not read as amethyst. The growth lines on the inside, to me, in the stone, don't read as amethyst at all, but that surely looks like lavender jade. Beautiful piece, plus that mounting. Very, very, very strong indicator that this is more than likely Chinese in origin. Beautiful sterling silver mounting, older mounting, and more vintage stone, but I liked the dome on this. I would say this could date as early as the late 40s, early 50s on this specific ring, and very well cast, very well made, and I really liked the design very much. So, and a large size, so that will fit me, and I would wear it, right full. Oh, there's another one of my diamonds. It's a European cut sparkler. Isn't that a dazzler? So, yeah, that would fit very well on my size 10. So that's a very great ring, and it was moderately priced. I think that was $30. And it's only marked sterling on the inside. And then there's these two. This one's very beautiful. 18 karat gold halo around this beautiful stone. And I think I may have brought this to one of my other videos, but I loved this. I loved it. It was still on my desk, and I thought, I'm going to share that again just because I loved this. 18 karat gold around and a beautiful blue stone. Whether it be aquamarine or blue topaz, I will do the research on that and figure that one out. But I love that design. And that was moderately priced. And then there's this one. And it's just 3 amethyst stones, but I really like the sculptural nature of this almost Art Deco style ring. Is it Art Deco? No, not at all. Is it from the late 80s? Sure, absolutely. It's a size 10, so it fits there and it fits beautifully. But I liked this very much. Very directional, very well cast, and very well made. So that I had to drag home too. I think that one was $25 or $30, and I felt that that was fine. This is a dazzler. At first I thought these were moissanite, and they very well might be. Haven't done any sort of test on these yet, but look at the scintillation, and again, that internal effervescence of color. Blue, pink, yellow, just fantastic dazzler of gemstones. And I loved that vintage styled mounting. This almost hand engraved and beautiful little side stones, and the yesterday, today, and tomorrow design, and a little tiny bezel set stone on the side, very well crafted. And the stones, like I said, why would you spend $9,000 on a diamond ring when this does the same job? It does. And I usually don't buy contemporary, but this is only, a few years old, but I really love this ring. And so that's going to come to one of my sales for sure. Likely one of the live sales on YouTube, which again, I'm still kind of settling in with that, and I appreciate your patience. Oh, as I struggle in this bag over here, these were the African trade beads. Let me zoom out a little bit because this is going to be way too close for you. And I didn't do anything with these just yet in terms of untangling them, but you can see the color and kind of the finish on these. And there's only a reason why I bought only 4 of them. They usually don't sell for that much more than what I paid for them. I think maybe the most I paid was $6.98, and I think some of the strands were $4.98. But I would like to bring these to one of my shows so that people can afford to buy from me. I want to have all different price points for people, and these are correct vintage. I believe they're Korba or Ashanti tribe. Some people say they're Ashanti talking beads. I'm not going to get into specifics on yes or no on that. But if you Google the Korba and Ashanti tribes, you'll see these. But I loved that strand. We'll move that out of the way. And then now that I got these untangled, look, it's almost magic. When I get on camera, it's almost magic sometimes. But I did like the secondary colors on some of these. And I liked kind of that matte finish. But these are correct. And I'll tell you, I thought these were really cool. So, and I said, I wanted to bring things, it was the last minute in that one video. I just didn't find much that day. And it's not like I had to buy anything, but it's like when I see something like this and I know that I can at least double my money, why not do it? That's what I've always said to people. It'll help pay for something else. It'll help pay a bill, or it'll help invest in your future business. So I'm not a prideful person on if I can make some money, I'm in. I've always been that way. And I think that's part of my success. I don't think that that's arrogant. I think it's just stating a fact that it's part of my success that I'm not afraid to buy something more moderate to flip and make money quickly. But look at the color of that. I really like the base orange, kind of a cantaloupe color, and then a true grass green, and almost this halo of purple around a turquoise blue. That had me very happy. And these are just strung temporarily on a monofilament. And I would say if you space these with other beads, I think that would make a beautiful necklace. I just do. There's something about these, the ones that I picked out, that I just really liked. And again, life changing? No. Historically important? No, not necessarily. We'll move that out of the way. And thanks again for bearing with me. I so appreciate you all being here. I did clean some of these items and get them bagged for sale. These were really cool. I went to the other Berlin Mall, and this is the only thing I bought there. Usually I'll find, upwards to 8 or 10 or 12 things to buy. That day, this is all I found. And these are, in fact, Moon Glow Lucite. They are from the very late 1950s. They are carved and then drilled and inset with these really beautiful Austrian crystal. Very lovely. Every stone is there. I don't think any were missing. And I really liked that color. Almost a golden yellow, but then stays very cream colored when you view them directly on from the front. So that would be perfect with the lucite purses from the late 1950s and the 1960s. This is a very smaller, a little bit of a smaller size. I think this is, rather than a 2.5, I think this is 2.25. So they would fit a smaller size wrist. But I just felt that those were too cool to leave behind. They were very moderately priced. And that's the only thing that I bought at the second Berlin Mall. I think that sums up my trip to Berlin. Oops, no it doesn't. I almost lied. I think there's 2 more. This is a really cool, very, very cool bronze Chinese incense burner. And in fact, enamel, glass enamel around the outside. Could you call that cloisonné? You most certainly can, but that is actually Champlevé enamel. That's not cloisonné because these cells were not hand constructed. So this is more Champlevé, meaning the surface was cut down and then glass was put into it and fired. So it's much more Champlevé than it is technically cloisonné. But again, we'll go over terms as I move forward in these videos. So the top comes off and it's got this wonderful, wonderful mythological beast on the top. And then what happens is once this is lit, where this screen is on the inside, this is new. Someone had added this just to be able to burn their incense. And then the smoke would come out of the top of this and come around this mythological beast. And I think, again, you'll have to forgive me, I think it's a Kurin. I think, and I may have that term wrong, so I don't like to say it unless I know, but it's got this honeycomb design and then almost like this smoke or wave design, more smoke than waves on that, applied handles, and then these figural feet. Very old, very much so older for an incense burner, but I liked the size of this, and I liked the scale, and I loved the design of this creature that would then appear as smoke goes around it. Can you imagine that being lit and having that smoke come out around this? It would just be such a beautiful sight, and such a small thing. Normally these get very large, very clumsy, very difficult to store and use, and this one's the perfect size. So I really loved this, and again, very moderately priced. When I go somewhere and they deal in, I guess I should say this, when they deal in primitives or country or farm implements, they don't quite understand things like this. They don't quite understand the value of something like this, or what it is, or what it was used for. Maybe they didn't even know it was Chinese. But when I look at these places, I look and I study for things outside of what they normally sell. So when I go to malls like this, I have forgiveness, but I focus on things like this, or jewelry, or decorative arts, or oil paintings, or bronze sculptures. I look for things outside of what they're usually selling, and that's where I found some of my best deals. That's the best part of advice that I could give to you, is that. Now, I should probably put this on black. Let me see. Well, you can see the design in here. Look at that, the dichroic almost mist inside of this paperweight. I think this one was signed, and it's dated 93, I think. I think this one was 93, and 1993, and it is signed. I haven't done the research on the signature yet. Sometimes I can't figure them out. I base my prices on design. I base my prices on craft. I've been over that before, but this on black might look slightly different. let's grab my pad, and this is going to be an absolute dusty mess as I dust it off in the background. Like you care. You know that I collect dust too. Look at that. You know, and when I've said before to people, when you're selling something and you have something light colored like this, please put it on black or dark gray. Look at that. Look how much better that would sell than sitting on, let's take this out, sitting on a white shelf. No, it doesn't do so well, doesn't promote the item very well. And you might say, well, who really cares for, a $60 paperweight worth $60? Well, I care because it would sell better. I always say put light colored things on a black background and vice versa. If this was dark colored, I like this one. Let's reach for this one. See, here we go. It gets lost. It gets lost. That ground color gets lost, but pull that out and oh, wow, look at that paperweight. So that's just a helpful hint. So put light colored things on a dark background and dark colored things on a light background. And that will help both in your photographs for listing or your displays in your house. So if you're a reseller, just a simple trick, that's all. And I've learned that over, 30 years of reselling. I came up on my anniversary on eBay the other day, and I looked at my seller record, and I've sold over 27,000 items. And someone else might say, well, 27,000 items, I can do that in a year. Sure, if you're listing, rejected things from, being damaged in the mail, and you have 1,600 tubes of lipstick, you most certainly can beat me. But on independent, unusual items, 27,000 is an awful lot. That's an accomplishment, and I'm super proud of myself. But this is beautiful. Trapped air on the inside, and that trail is magnificent, but I love that iridescent mist on the inside. And maybe I'd go a little higher on this one. Maybe I'd go towards 75 or 85. But I loved that one. And so that was one of the last finds down in the antique malls down south. And then I moved my way to flea markets. I found this one at the Hartville flea market, and this was late in the day. I was just getting ready to leave, and I don't ever leave defeated, but I just didn't find that much that day. And I want people to understand, just because I bring so much on, I've been doing this a long time. Don't get discouraged. I say go out there and find these things, because I am. This one's Whiting and Davis, and this did borrow from an earlier time. These are, in fact, Niger brothers glass jewels. These are, in fact, older. These are late 20s, 30s, maybe even into the 40s. This necklace for Whiting and Davis wasn't created until the 60s. They were using old Niger glass parts. Showed this to a jewelry historian, and she absolutely said to me, wow, that's wild to see a Whiting and Davis lariat necklace, clearly marked Whiting and Davis, right there, on this double kind of drop clasp. Whiting and Davis, a well-known company. They also made mesh purses, but look at the gold plating, and then comes down to this snake, this coiled snake, almost bolo tie style tie there, and then this double lariat drop, and these are in fact Niger glass that are older. So this could really throw somebody off. They might say, oh wow, that's a Whiting and Davis snake lariat from the 30s. No, it's a Whiting and Davis snake lariat from the later 50s into the 60s. And guess what? These are from an earlier time period, and they must have bought out a factory, or they may have just bought out parts that were Niger. I do have a very large holding of old Niger glass components. And I do have these pharaohs, and then I do have the front view pharaoh that's red. I think I have around 100 of these, and I have around 70 of the front view pharaoh face that I can bring on and show you. I actually have closed out stock that was from an earlier time period, and if I set them today, that would really confuse historians in the near future. They would say, wow, that was made in 2024, but it's using very much so older parts. So I'm glad I could clarify that for some people that wouldn't know that. Let me reach for this one too. Oh, and that necklace was very late, and it was $5. And I would say a retail on that on eBay, you could get $125 to $175. Will I ask for that? No. I'll sell it a little bit quicker, but that would definitely go on my eBay page eventually. This is a beautiful Hopi silver overlaid bracelet. So it's 2 sheets of silver soldered together. This is clearly Hopi. in design. The stamping is less typical of Hopi, but that pierce work and that shadow box, if you will, shadow box design of having a positive and a negative, not exactly shadow box because that's more Navajo, but this hand pierced out is Hopi and only marked sterling on the inside. This is a great cuff. Very lovely size, very lovely weight. I loved everything about this. I would say retail on this one would be between $225 and $300. So that kind of gives you a value on that. And again, I always tell people, please don't polish this because if you did, all this black would be gone and this bracelet would not read the same. It'd be very flat and very boring. So that's why I have a tendency not to polish my silver. If you want to polish this top portion, I could give forgiveness with that and quite understand. But if you wear it enough, you wouldn't have to worry about polishing it as much. Now, let's reach for, this box just keeps going and going and going and going. Let's see here. I'm going to try and get through this pretty quick. Thank you again for bearing with me. This was brought to me by another shopper at the flea market. This ring and this ring together were brought to me because I'm known to buy a lot of jewelry at the flea market. This amethyst is absolutely beautiful, and I loved this modernist bypass design, and it's just great. You can't take anything away from this. I love the angle it's set at. I love the clean lines, and that stone is just beautiful for a genuine amethyst. It's a little on the pale side for my liking, but it makes sense with this ring. So that was brought to me, and this was brought to me. And I thought this was gold, but it's not. It's gold plated. It is sterling silver. It's signed way down on the inside that it's sterling. Look at the condition of that plating. Again, I'm not a fan of tiger eye. It's not that I have anything against it. I just think that it's so common. We're used to seeing it so much. And I'm not going to say I don't like it, but it's not something that I would seek out. But I liked the directional lines in this version of this ring. Very deco style, but still very reminiscent of the late 60s, early 70s, kind of modernist jewelry, but I loved it. Almost looking at a deco buckle bracelet as well. So I really thought that was special, and someone will love that. So I'll be bringing that to one of my YouTube sales, and likely I will be bringing this one to one of my YouTube sales as well. But look at how cool this is. I just thought that was really special and really beautiful. Very directional, very easy to wear. It's an everyday ring. Very well made. I like the thickness of the silver. Not artist signed at all, just signed sterling. So those two will likely make it to one of my sales as well. Let's get those out of the way. 2 bracelets. And I bring this on. This one I bought at a local charity shop. And I don't like when people really watch what I buy, but the lady at checkout made such a big deal about this. It was $4, and it is in fact Bakelite. You can tell that it's creamed corn. Originally, would have been much, much lighter and is now oxidized to this deep, almost marigold or goldenrod yellow. Very beautiful. It's a thin-walled bangle, so it's very easy to wear because it's lightweight, very wide, I think 1 inch and almost a half wide, so really great for $4. So that will sell very quickly. I might put it in a stack and put that on eBay, but again, all by my choice and what I see fit for maximizing my money. This bracelet's unusual. This happened from Hartville Flea Market. Again, it was early in the morning. A lady was just setting up. I gave her some time and space because she was very stressed out. She was on the phone. You could tell she didn't want to be bothered. So I waited and I came back a few moments later. About 8 minutes went by, went back, and she had just put this out on her bracelet mandrel. I think it was $15. And I love this lucite bracelet. It's reminiscent of the work of Sobrel, but it's not Sobrel as a maker. I will do some research because I have a feeling I might know who produced this. I'm not exactly sure as of right now, but look at the way the light goes through that and the silver foil confetti and then these embedded rhinestones and this beautiful negative space that this is like outer space. This looked like heaven on a beautiful summer night and spaced with planets, if you will. There's like this whole universe going on in that, but I loved that lucite bracelet. So that was a yes. You can kind of tell what I go for. I don't like common things. I don't like things that, you can find everywhere. This is a turquoise cuff that's much, much older. Now, stylistically, it looks like it's 30s in terms of age. I don't think it's quite that old. It could be late 30s, the way that this is opened up here, and you can tell the craft of it being cut with almost a cold chisel, and then this then opened up. So it's, not soldered together here. It's hammered there, and then this space is then opened up or pried open to then have it be wider at the front where then they can put these stones. Very well planned out. Very heavy in its silver. It is sterling, and it does have quite a bit of wear on these droplets. So I might reconsider this and say this is later 30s. The color of the stones, absolutely gorgeous. Really incredible. Very well constructed bezels, and then the simple rote twist border around the outside. Really loved that for a turquoise cuff. So that was a yes from the flea market. Again, very moderately priced, but I loved it because I love early Native American, and that one's Navajo for sure. Absolutely Navajo. This one, I wasn't, too incredibly impressed by, but I loved these stones. Almost reminiscent of butterfly wing or dragon's breath or opaline or opalite. People go crazy. It's just glass. It's just glass. It's not a big deal. I don't think that this one is sterling. I think that this is not. Now, I think it's marked sterling down on the inside. Never trust a hallmark. Always go on color. Notice how this leans a little yellow. It leans a little bit too yellow for sterling. When you look at silver, let's look at this one. Let's take this one in. Look at silver, not silver. Silver, sterling, not quite there. Definitely more yellow. That could be alpaca. It also could just be nickel, but I think it is. Let me look on the inside and see if this is marked sterling and kind of get a close-up of that if it is. Let's see here. Maybe it's not. Yeah, it's most certainly marked sterling. I am going to test this, but that metal, it is sterling 925 Tosco. This just doesn't read sterling to me. Please be careful. Buyers and sellers, please be careful. This does not read as sterling to me. But again, I will test it to make sure. The color of it, it just looks like German silver, nickel silver, doesn't even look like 800 silver. And there's something going on with the finish there. I don't even know what's going on there. But this solder seam, that does not look like a sterling solder seam. No, not at all. So I'm 99% sure that this would just be alpaca, which, it's a beautiful bracelet. Is it worth $200 to $300? No. If it was sterling, it would be worth $180. As alpaca, it's probably worth 50 or 60 on that. But again, I'm not necessarily a fan because it just doesn't look right on the skin either. That doesn't read as sterling to me. It's too yellow. All right, and that's not just tarnish, so that's going to get tested, but I really like the stones, and I think that was $5. It was $5 or $10. And like I said, I'll buy something like that, but I'm not going to promote it as sterling because it's not. I'm not going to do that. This one is deco and very cool, and I don't remember which flea I got this at, but I love the color of these. Orange is my favorite color, but I love how these half-round beads or elliptical footballs are then spaced with this clear spacer. And then it is very long, so it's got this huge length. Just keeps going and going and going, and then spaced with white beads. I thought that was very cool to give you kind of a break of the orange. Orange is a powerful color. Some people are afraid of it. I'm not. It's just one of my favorites. That was too cool for a Czechoslovakian orange glass necklace, so that was very cool. I don't think that was very much money. I think that was $5 or $6, so that was a yes. And then this paperweight, oops, as I drop so many things. If you came over to my house, you could chop off my floor. Let's see here. So this is just too sweet. I thought it was Orient and Flume when I first saw it. And Orient and Flume, I believe, was from Chico, California. In one of my videos, I said Chino, California, because my friend Tawny is from Chino, but it's Orient and Flume is from Chico, California. And this is not. This is signed with another signature. And if anybody out there in YouTube land knows this, it looks like DR and then SUA, either YAR or GAR, and it's dated 2 of 86. I think that's an 86. Yeah, I think that's an 86. This was the dealer sticker on it. I left that on there. If anyone out there knows this, please put it in the comment section and help out your best friend Jason. I wasn't familiar with this maker, but it sure looked Orient and Flume, and I collect Orient and Flume. But why I bought this is it's a miniature paperweight. I mean, could this get any cuter with this bleeding heart in iridized blue and aurine surface? Could that get any more adorable on a purple or a plum ground? I said to myself, oh, that's coming home with me. Look how little it is, the smallest. If I was in my 20s and 30s, I would mount it as a ring. I would. I hate to admit it, but I would absolutely put a bezel around it and I would wear it as a ring. In my older age, no, I will enjoy it as a paperweight on my desk because that's just so special. I really love the coloration of that. So if anybody knows that maker, please let me know because I didn't do any research just yet. I looked online for a second, but it wasn't familiar to me. These two, let me grab, there was one more. Oh, okay, we'll do this one too, because I think this is, this is from the same mall. So we'll scoot this stuff out. Thanks again for bearing with me. I really appreciate it. I don't normally buy Joan Rivers, but this was very inexpensive. I think it was $4.99, and it's signed Joan Rivers down on the inside. Let's see here if I can get there. Yep, there's the Joan Rivers mark right there. But look at the craft of this. It looks like 18 karat gold diamonds and turquoise enamel. And that's what they were doing with hers. They were reproducing a lot of her collection. And the craft on these, that's such a tight clasp. And, you hear the snap. That's quality. That's quality costume. Did I forgive myself for buying it? Sure. For $4.99, I could sell it for $30. Pretty easy, so I thought that was really nice and beautiful condition and a good size for a wrist size. And it's oval, so it would fit very well. Now, these are interesting. This is one of the coolest things I found, and I think this is out of Ravenna's Mall. This is 14 karat gold on the inside and sterling silver. Very, very heavy. Extremely heavy bracelet, and the gold is solid. It's not plated, and that's a big thick piece of gold. Look at that. You can see on the side there, that's a very chunky, thick piece of gold. I normally don't like when metals are mixed. I'm kind of a purist when it comes to at least what I wear. There's a lot of people that enjoy mixed metals. So I loved this double safety or double push button clasp. Very, very well crafted. Very well crafted, and it's signed on the inside. It's by Peter Brahms. Let's see if I can zoom in. And again, I appreciate everyone for sticking with me. We're about 35 minutes in, but it's signed down here. And then just beautiful 14 karat gold. Very, very heavy. So that was a yes. That would be an easy sell. Let me get that back in its bag. And then these three, I just had to. I couldn't leave them. I tried so hard to be decisive and leave them behind, and I just couldn't. This orchid bead in art glass. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a lily. I think it's one of those stargazer lilies. I'm not a botanist by trade. I think that's a tiger lily or that Asiatic lily. But I believe it's a stargazer. Yeah, it's a stargazer. And at least I think so. And then someone's yelling at their screen, no, it's not. It's like, okay, settle down. It is artist signed. So the artist that did the art glass, and it is sterling silver for the findings. I loved the design of this. That is so beautiful for fused glass. And again, I kind of avoid contemporary. That had to come home with me. Loved the color and the detail. I loved that bead as a pendant. Very sizable, yet very wearable. And an artist worked very hard on that. What a labor of love. Anytime I see a labor of love, I go crazy and buy it. And then I figure it out later. This one's very nice for Native American. It is Navajo. And I guess you could say, is it a conch or concho design? Sure, you could. Absolutely. And the chased work here, the stamp work, is really beautifully executed. And I loved these details right there and right there, and that beaded border around this beautiful turquoise stone. Beautiful color on that. It's got quite a bit of age. I would say late 30s, maybe into the 40s on this, because the metal's a little bit thinner. So I'd say maybe into the 40s, but beautiful oxidation and patination to the surface. That was $40, 40. And I usually sell those that age and that style. I usually get around 100 and, well, between 100 and 125. So that was a yes, because it would make me some money. This is a beautiful lorgnette. It's Art Nouveau. Yes, it's a lorgnette. So when you push this button, this does flip open, and then the glasses do unfold. So this is opera glasses. And this woman who had a lot of money back then would be viewing the opera through these beautiful lenses and through this, and then you close it down, you push it back in so it locks in place. But look at that for an Art Nouveau design. So naturalistic and so beautiful. And those are her initials. The lucky lady that was able to afford these back then signed that. It is sterling silver and gold wash, and it would hang on a chain like that. So it would hang on a chain upside down, and then she would then bring this up to her, push the button, and watch her opera in style. Very high style. Beautiful. A thing of a gone by era. Not exactly one of the most marketable these days, but there are people that collect objects of virtue or objects of higher status individuals. This is a beautiful rosary. I'm going to kind of pedal really quick now. Sterling silver, green crystal. All the crystals are there. Beautiful signed sterling right there at the bottom. Beautiful rosary. Absolutely loved that. That was a have to have. Very inexpensive. Then this Art Deco ring box. Don't exactly remember where I got this, but it's beautiful Bakelite, Art Deco, dual ring, so red Bakelite and black, and it's for 2 rings, American Beauty rings, really fantastic for a little ring box. I loved that Art Deco box, so that was a have to have. That I will probably keep. Of all the things I bought, that will probably be one of the only ones I keep. And then this one is beautiful. This is 14 karat gold and in fact jade. This will head to eBay. Very unusual mounting. Very, very unusual mounting. So it's asymmetrical, it's whiplash, it's absolutely artistic in its presentation, very high, built up, very dramatic, beautiful jade stones, beautiful quality. The work in this is magnificent. So that for a very artistic ring, I buy unusual, and that's the classic example. Do I want a common everyday gold ring? Not really. Did I want something that looked like this, that was filled with art and love? And each thing is soldered together. Each little piece, it's not cast. Each little mounting is soldered in place, and look at each stone is different, so that artist had to create each prong setting for each and every stone. They had to plan that out, and then that kind of arrangement of fan shaped. I loved this ring. This was a definite yes. So that was a yes. That will definitely go to eBay, and then this one will head to eBay as well. And this is beautiful. It's 2 amethyst hearts and this Etruscan design of these granulated and wire-worked rosettes, and this is 14 karat gold, but look at the heart-shaped amethysts. And I loved this because we're so used to seeing a center stone set right in the middle of a ring, and look at this artist. They could have put the hearts opposing each other, across from each other. No, they didn't. They built them into the sides of the ring. It's kind of a whisper to basically heighten the design. You can see this is completely hand constructed. I would love to spend more time on this one and show you this in greater depth. I will get this cleaned. I will definitely clean this. I don't use an ultrasonic ever. What I do is I use a brush and some mild soap, and I will soak them sometimes on something like this. You can almost put it in a half Windex, half water solution. It won't hurt it, but just don't do that with pearls or porous materials. Don't do it on pearls or opals or turquoise. And you all know that so far. Look at the growth lines. Again, that color zoning I mentioned in other stones. When certain people say, I don't know what color zoning is, there's color zoning in an amethyst. It's the zones of color that says, hello, I'm a natural stone, specifically in this gemstone right here. This one doesn't have it as much, but there's a slight inclusion, almost like a fingerprint that goes across the center of that one. We like to see that because then we know they're natural amethyst. This has some age to it. This would be, could it be as early as the late teens? Yes, 1918. Could it be through the 1930s? Absolutely, most certainly could. These were just beautiful. I wish I had time to take these both out. Well, you know, I'm going to bend the rules. This one's garnet, and this one's the most beautiful enamel work. It's just a stunner. And that's sterling with gold wash. Garnet's all the way up the chain, and very long chain. Very, very long chain. And then look at that enamel work. Absolutely exquisite. Mogul Indian from India in style and in authenticity. This one's the same way. This, I think, I'm trying to remember exactly where these came from, and since I've bought so much, I've lost track a little bit. Look at the enamel work on this. Sterling silver, again, slight gold gilt, gilded surface, but look at these beads. Again, really nice, really beautiful. Look how each bead is slightly different. Look at that. You know, when you look close and look at the design. Let me get that little kink out of there. Look at the design of these. Oops, there's another one. Doesn't want to lay down right, but look at that. Each one's slightly different. Each one is slightly different as I struggle to let it focus because I'm in a panic. I do have a little bit to get done today, but you will notice that I'm going to have more time to share with you when I come on. This is interesting, and I hope you all stayed put. This is the Lucky 7 gemstone. That's what they call it. It's 7 gemstones that come together to form this, and it's if you look at it, it's incredible. If you look at this online, it almost looks like a plume. I had this in a past video, and a viewer slowed me down and said, slow down, because that's the Lucky 7 stone. And I said, what is Lucky 7? And then I looked it up, and sure enough, there is also a Lucky 8 that includes, I believe, hematite. As one of the trace minerals. I wish I could get this to light up a little bit better. Let me reach for my flashlight and see if I can get this to light up a little bit better for you. Because there's these golden inclusions on the inside of this. Nope, it's not going to do it. It's fighting too much with me to focus. But that is such the incredible stone. Let's see if I could tip it this way and show you those golden inclusions in that amethyst. Nope, still not going to do it. But these, oh, there it starts to do it. But those are a golden inclusion in there. What an amazing stone. Very powerful. And I bought that from that one shop in Worcester. And I believe it's $30. I left the price tag on it in my past video. That's a killer. That's just such an incredible stone. But I wanted to bring that back on because I learned something from all of you. And I think that's further proof that I always say, don't ever think that you know everything, because we don't. One more here, 2 more here, 1 more here. What is this? Oh, okay, we can do this too. I'm just going to round up a few more out of this box. The box is it just keeps going. It's almost at the point of ridiculous. So we have just a couple more. Thanks for bearing with me. This was an art glass one. This is cool. This will come to my sale. I don't want to take it out of there, but sterling and art glass. So that will come to one of my sales online. This is magnificent. And then we've got this, and we've got this. We've got these. We've got 2 cameos, and then we have this. So I'll start with this one to get this out of the way. I will be bringing this to my sale. It is a diamond, and it's a beauty, and it's in 14 karat white gold. I love this little diamond. It's very sweet. It's very beautiful. And I want to bring diamonds to buyers on YouTube. We don't see enough of that affordable. And so I want to bring this one. It's very lovely and it's in 14 karat white gold. And this will definitely come to one of my sales. So in the very near future. So that's going to come as a diamond ring in 14 karat white gold. I bought it right. So I'm going to sell it right. I'm going to make someone extremely happy. This is a beautiful cameo. And why I bought this one is I loved the proportions. I loved her face, but look how high dome this goes. That was too delicious to leave behind. It's a pendant. This is a low carat gold frame. And then this is a gold filled jump ring. So you can see the difference. Low carat gold here, probably around 9 carat. And then that's gold filled. You can see that that's worn through. So someone replaced that at some point. So it may have started life as something else, but look at the detail of that and the flowers and her kind of stern yet beautiful face. Really liked her proportions, and I loved this either scepter or spear or torch, or can't figure that one out. You know, someone else will know and they'll say, well, that's such and such. And I'll say, okay, it's such and such. And then I'll go, I don't care, I'm going to sell it. And then this one was listed as a cameo that was shell. It's not. This is hard stone. This is actually banded agate. So it's white agate on top of black agate. That is not a shell whatsoever. And it's not glass either. I will take that out of there eventually. But look at the detail. Look at the detail on her headpiece and these almost lily of the valley and this tendril of hair. And she's got a beautiful necklace on. But look at her face, the translucency of her face, the detail there, the softness of her lips and the softness of her chin and that elongated neck. But her eye, how beautifully well carved that is, that was a yes. That was an absolute yes. That was at Hartfield Flea Market. So that was a yes. And I don't know if I'll set it or sell it as is. We're winding down. This one was, this may be a keeper. I'm not sure. I had this brooch years ago and I sold it and then I regretted selling it because it's so beautiful and so simple. This is Marcel Boucher and it's a very early Boucher. It's the MB with the falcon head above it. The falcon head is facing to the left. I've covered that in previous videos, so sorry to go so quick over that, but that's MB with the falcon head facing that way. Marcel Boucher, and Marcel Boucher, beautiful because looks like it's crafted out of platinum and diamonds, but that's just pot metal, rhodium plated, and then rhinestones. But I've loved that brooch. It's very large. I did sell mine years ago for around $225. Now this one goes for around $125 to $145. The price has come down, and I think that's maybe why I don't want to sell it, is because I would rather keep it. This is 14 karat gold and magnificent. I love this. I absolutely love this. I love the stone. It's smoky quartz. I love the mounting. This was a little bit of a splurge, but look at how that lights up. Look at that internal light in that stone. It's so well faceted and the proportions are correct. And then this gigantic, very dramatic, very theatrical pronged mounting and this triple band in solid 14 karat gold. This ring is built like a battleship. It is built to last. This stone is magnificent. The mounting is just as good. When you look at some of these, sometimes the stones are better than the mounting and vice versa. This one has it going for it in both directions. Both the mounting and the stone. Absolutely, positively love it. That more than likely will head to either a local show or we'll head to eBay. And again, we're almost done. I think we have 4 things left. This is the Uncle Sam hat. I've wanted this brooch for a long time. It is Bakelite. I have never been able to get my hands on this. The black portion is actually dark, dark blue. So if we put a light on this, this is actually transparent midnight blue. It's laminated together with the cream corn Bakelite, and that would have been red, white, and blue. The yellow used to be white, so that used to be very, very pale cream-colored Bakelite, and it's oxidized to yellow over time. The 3 stars are in fact steel, and they're tacks that go all the way through. So you see these little studs that come all the way through. Note the age of that riveted pin back. So those rivets go into the Bakelite. Look at the oxidation and that age on that. Very, very old. The red is painted and applied, and this is a sizable Uncle Sam's hat. I've loved this pin. For a patriotic pin, I've always wanted this one. Thick-walled, Bakelite, and as soon as I saw it in the case, I just couldn't believe my eyes. Snapped that up in a hurry. I would say retail on this years ago used to be $1,500. You might get lucky and find it for $1,000. Now on the open market, it's probably between $500 and $700. So this has come down in value. Didn't scare me off of buying it for a second. I want to wear this on 4th of July. That's going to be my pin of choice for when I go out to the flea market on the 4th of July. That's the one I'm going to wear. So, and then we've got this. This is a jade bead that I bought, and I put this in on my community tab. We'll talk about this in great depth in the future. Look at the detailed carving of this. This is fully carved out here. There is a tiny little tongue in the bird's mouth. That stem bypasses the mouth over there. Should have been broken off a long time ago. Beautiful wear pattern across that surface of that jade. Such an amazing color. Considered sometimes pale celadon, technically on this one, white jade. And almost completely colorless, but that very pale, light green. Look how they carved through this top wing to put a hole in through there. Such attention to detail on that. Honest wear on the tail, so you can see where this high point has been worn down over the years. And this, I think it's wheat. It's a branch. Someone may correct me on that, but they probably will. I like to be corrected when I'm wrong. And then the detail of the eye, the way that's carved. But look at the carving on the feathers. Incredible detail and such beautiful gesture. Why would they go the extra mile and put the tiny little feet underneath? And look, they polished inside of the feet. I always look at that attention to detail and say, now I know I'm in the presence of something more important than just a common carving that was hurried along. I think this has quite a bit of age to it. I did show one of my Asian friends and collectors that lived in China for a long time. She said this definitely has quite a bit of age to it. She couldn't sign off on the exact age, but she said, yes, it is in fact very old. So I will do some research. A single white Haitian jade bead, I believe I posted it on from the Christie's website. It's a figural person. It was older than this. It was slightly larger than this. Carving was about the same. This one might be slightly more ornate. And that one sold for, I think, $12,000 for a simple jadeite bead or a jade bead. But this is just great. So I had to bring that back for a close-up and give it its chance. I will be doing a ton more research on this. So I wanted to bring that because you all wanted to see that up close. So I'm glad I did that. And as I researched that and I found out further information, I'll definitely be bringing it back. Now these two, and then we're going to call it quits. And we're going to end on these. But these inspired me to get back into the studio. There's this one, and then there's this one, which is just such a smoker of an opal. These were sold to me as Ethiopian in origin. I'm not going to make a comment on origin until I show my friend who's a stone cutter. Look at that fire and effervescence in this opal. It is magnificent. And it is technically going for a rose cut. It's flat on the back. And then it's fully faceted on the front. Is it a rose cut? No, because there's not 6 facets. It's haphazardly faceted across the surface. But it's in the mindset of rose cut. If I turn the light down a little bit, let's see if we can do that as I struggle to reach for my controller. And again, thanks so much for staying with me. I was going to try and keep this around 45 minutes, and I went over by a little bit. So I turned the light down. Look at that color push and pull. Blue, green, hot pink, bright orange and yellow. There's not a single dead spot in that stone, and it's a very large opal. Again, I will figure out the origin on this and come back on and let you know, but it is a natural opal from what I can tell, from what my eye is telling me. That is not Gilson or man-created. So there's that one. We'll cover that back up and put that down here. And then there's this one. And this one just had different color play in the stone. And I don't want to make a comment on what I paid for these just yet because it was ridiculously low. Look at that. Fiery red pink. flashing right through there, and then that constant lightning of electric lime green and a saturated blue ground. So that is almost like a hologram. It was like Mother Nature's hologram. Look at it. Look at the scintillation, that push and pull, the effervescence. You flip it over and look at that on the back. Equally as beautiful and saturated with color. So I will definitely bring these on again when I figure out their origin, but this inspired me to get right back into the studio. Oh, and I guess that these aren't the last two things. I guess I should bring this on. I went over to V-Rock, and I want to show you these. Oh, I had other stuff I needed to show you, but we're not going to get to that right now. I had a whole nother bag from Rogers Flea Market, but I went and I spent $124 on silver wire and gallery wire, and from V-Rock shop, $124.51, and it was this a fancy gallery wire to make a bezel, and then it was this. These are both sterling silver. It was this serrated bezel wire. I bought, let's see here, I bought 6 feet of the one, and I bought 1.5 feet of this one. And so what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to create bezels out of this, and I'll show you the ring. This was commissioned, and I don't want to say exactly who this was for just yet. It is signed on the back, but this is the ring that I created. Let me wipe this off. This is the ring that I recently created out of one of the marbles. It was a commission from a fellow YouTuber, and here is the ring. And she picked out the stone, and I created the bezel, and I did sand this down. Probably going to polish it one more time, buff it one more time, but I love a matte finish. And this was an vintage shank that was signed by the artist that did it in the 50s. It was just a mass-produced sterling shank, but I love to use old shanks with my work. Look how thick the bezel is. So I created this out of one of the Jabo marbles from my past video. So if you feel left out, don't, because she knows me through YouTube, and I will be producing these, and I will be bringing these to sale. I will be selling my work on YouTube in the very near future, so don't feel left out, but this is where I'm headed. I want to set the glass stones as rings, and this is going to go in the mail tomorrow. I think, no, maybe in 2 days, because of when I'm airing this, but I will sand this down just a little bit more, but I love the natural kind of matte finish on this. I love that it looked older, looked authentic. I don't like a high polish on my work, because then when you wear it, you'll scratch it and you'll be sad because you will get wear on it right away. But this surface will last a long time. And I'll give that a quick buff, like I said, before I send it out. But look at that for that ring. So now I'll leave you alone. So that's one of my creations, and it's headed out to its new home. Again, signed on the back, and I won't show you who it's signed to, but there's my signature, and I did proudly sign it for her. She's like a sister to me. I love her very, very much. A great person with a great channel, and such a positive personality. So yes, so here is bezel wire, and here is a ton of bezel wire. So I'll be setting a ton more stones. I'll be making a ton more things. Anyways, you know how I end this. I absolutely love you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of, I believe, your weekend at this point. Thank you. I love you. Bye-bye.